Some days are distilled magic, giving an experience far transcending the normal boundaries of expectation, and for a while, it seems, you exist in another realm. So a few years ago, me and my friend Chaz were at the skate park. I'm telling him about how I'm doing my outdoor education degree and how I'm going to become a mountain leader and what I need to do, work towards and stuff like that. And he starts telling me all about all these mountains that he's been on and all these ridges that he's done and how he really wanted to do this ridge on this mountain called An Teallach.
An Teallach is a mountain, northwest Highlands of Scotland. On the west coast, just south of Liverpool, and it's like, to me, it's the mother of all mountains in Scotland. It's a long walk in. It's a huge mountain. It's like a cluster of mountaintops that all together becomes An Teallach, even though each little mountain within it has its own name. But the cluster of mountains is An Teallach, and it's 5 or 6 kilometres long, several kilometres from the road, and about 3,500 feet high. And that description would give you lots of mountains in Scotland, but they're not like An Teallach. You see it from the skyline and it's like shark's teeth. It's scary.
I'd never heard of it before, but he's telling me stories about what he's done with other people and how he has never got anyone to do this one climb with him because it's that scary. Nobody wanted to do it with him.
My dad took me climbing all around Scotland, not climbing, hiking and with a bit of scrambling, but he'd never take me up An Teallach. So from about 1984 till now, 2020, I've been wanting to go up An Teallach. And since then, a succession of friends, both male and female, who have been out on the hills with, I've asked all of them, shall we do An Teallach? And the answer has always been, once they've seen it, no.
So he's telling me about how scary this ridge is, and I'm like, I'll do it with you. Fast forward to this year, 2020, and he's like, right, I really want to do this. He's like, I really want to do An Teallach. I'm 50 soon, and I want to do it before I'm 50.
So our conversation for, okay, let's go and climb An Teallach, was probably only about 2 weeks ago.
The An Teallach ridge has got this section on it at the beginning called the Bad Step, and it is a 2-pitch climb, 24 meters altogether, and it's only a diff, which is like a really low level, quite easy climb to do if you're on ground level.
I've been waiting 35 years to do this mountain. If we're doing it properly, and we're going up the Bad Step and along the ridge properly and across the front of all the little teeth on the top. So again, being sensible, Leon said, well, if we're going to do that, we need to do it with a rope, because any slip, trip or fall up there is just certain death. Now, I'd never been on a rope before.
Chaz never really had any legitimate climbing experience with like placing gear and following, like seconding up on a climb. So we had 2 weeks for me to teach Chaz how to belay properly, how to take gear out and place it on a harness.
So off I went to Go Outdoor World and bought myself a harness and a carabiner and a belay plate. And Leon took me to Awesome Walls and started to teach me how to climb. One evening in Awesome Walls,
we went to some crags to practice some climbing. We went out on a couple of scrambles in the Lake District.
And we scrambled through Easy Gully, and then we scrambled up Jack's Rake. We did a couple of practice emergency abseils and a couple of practice short pitches, just so I could get used to rope work on rocks.
I would have liked to have done more, but we didn't really have the time.
So we came up to Scotland with the idea of climbing An Teallach via the Bad Step, with me having done an hour and a half in a church and about half an hour somewhere up the top of Easy Gully. And so that was it. That was the preparation.
So it's an early one today. Got up 6 o'clock in the morning. Got to go meet my friend Chaz. And then we've got a big, maybe 8-hour, 10-hour drive up to the northwest Highlands in Scotland. We're going to go do something that we've been planning for a while, a mountain ridge called An Teallach. We drove up to Scotland, must have been like a 10-hour drive. We gave ourselves a week in Scotland just in case the weather was terrible. But luckily we had a small weather window. We had Saturday and Sunday of nice weather. So on the Saturday we did a little warm-up mountain day on Stack Polly, which is a beautiful, beautiful mountain. Practice some rope work there, so emergency rope work. So I belayed Chaz down, and then I abseiled myself down into this little saddle in this little saddle bit on Stack Polly, which is about a 14-meter drop, which was quite cool. So that prepared us for the next day, just in case we got to some parts of the ridge where we couldn't easily navigate, and we wanted to stick to the top of the ridge as much as possible. Turns out it came in quite handy doing that practice the day before. Top notch.
So on the day we set off early from our camper van. We stayed down in Corryhally in the little car park at the bottom of the hill. We set off early with all our kit, which had been checked and double checked, and then Leon had triple checked my kit and his kit. We had the ropes, the harnesses, his little scrambling rack he'd got together and checked again, helmets, and we had everything we needed. We had plenty of food, we had plenty of water, we had spare clothing, spare shoelaces, blister plasters, first aid kit, because you need a plaster if you fall 3,000 feet off An Teallach. And off we set, the crack of dawn.
Off we go. 8:21 a.m.
The walk in was long.
Nothing for miles around. In the Northwest Highlands, once you start walking away from any road towards the mountains, you just feel like you are in the most remote wilderness. It is absolutely breathtaking.
It took, about 4 hours, I think, to get to where we actually started to do the climb. And the majority of that was bog and boulder field and scree. To be honest, by the time we got to where we needed to feel like we were getting up onto the ridge, I was already done, and the day had barely started. We then climbed up probably about a 50 or 60 foot scramble up a sandstone slab.
Bad step. This is the moment we've been waiting for. How do you feel now that we're finally here? Love to do it.
Very pleased with myself, but looking at what's ahead of us, more than slightly apprehensive.
All that preparation 2 weeks before was for this point. There is an easy way to go around. Chaz was determined that he wanted to do it proper way. He wanted to do the bad step and commit to the whole ridgeline. And off we set. I led,
The actual moves on the climb weren't that difficult, but if you look down, everything suddenly became very serious.
Pitch 1, bad step. It's a good view from here. Cool, well, that's pitch 1. Anyway, put some gear in, nice and safe, got up to the top of the first pitch, belayed Chaz up again. We didn't swap over like normal multi-pitching. I led the second stage again.
It took a while, I guess, because it's a bit scary, and you really feel like you want to make sure that you've got really good holds and solid footholds.
You've got to get right in. I go left. Yeah. A shitty little move going across to the left here, so I'm just putting a good bit of a protection on it. Got up to the top, put my anchors in, belayed Chaz up.
The first half of the second pitch was probably a little bit easier than the first pitch, but then there were a couple of moves just towards the top where there wasn't really anything to get your fingers in. It was palms only, which was a little bit off-putting. Palms only, and then get a left leg quite far to the left and quite high, which isn't that easy for me with my hips don't move very well anymore. So that was a bit of an awkward move. A couple of pieces like that to get up and onto the top. But obviously we did it because we're both here. Once we were on the top and away from the edge, we'd sit down and get the kit off and sort of review what we've done rather.
Well done. Some good going there.
To me, that was quite an emotional moment then. For probably 36 years since I first wanted to get up there, and to actually have gone from not putting a harness on and using a rope at all to climbing up An Teallach within a fortnight, I thought was very impressive of me and quite impressive of Leon for being able to teach me that quickly, to be able to feel safe climbing with him, and get us up there.
You could tell that that was such a meaningful moment for Chaz, yeah, and I think both of us at that point felt on top of the world, and we literally could have been it for just vast amounts of space all around us, nothing but views of just more beautifully amazing mountains all around, and we still had another 6-7 hours left of hiking to do.
What the fuck? It's not got any easier.
Holy moly! On top of An Teallach, you go climbing up and down all the ridge points, making sure we stuck to the sharpest pieces of the ridge.
Cut to the right
right, there's another broken stone there.
We went and stood upon the top of Lord Berkeley's seat, which was probably one of the most exposed feelings I've ever had in my life, because it goes right underneath you, and it's so far down, it's crazy. You can't even like explain it. You have to be there to know what I'm talking about, really. It's mind blowing. And then we bagged the 2 Munros after it and made our way back down, back towards the van, which felt like it took forever. My boots were just killing my feet. There were midges, it was wet, it was hot, but it was probably the best mountain day I have ever been on. I think we got back to the van 13 hours after we left. It was a day I'll never forget anyway. It felt really good to be able to facilitate that achievement, to help Chaz achieve something that he'd wanted to do for so long, and I can't wait to go back to the Northwest Highlands to experience some more of that beautiful Scottish